turn out the light. I can tell you, but I know it's mine. I get by the little my friend. Get high the little my friend. I'm gonna try the little my friends. Do you need anybody? Oh, I need somebody to love. Could be anybody. Oh, I want somebody to love. Get back the little my friends. Get high the little my friends. I'm gonna try the little my friends. Yes, right back the little my friends. Little help from my friends.
Well, help from my friends. Good morning, New Thought, Philadelphia. It is wonderful to see you folks here in person at the Falzer Club in East Falls, and also to our friends on Zoom. It's wonderful to have you here as well. Zoom is wonderful because you can wear your pajamas and you can be anywhere. If all is working properly, this is on YouTube as well, so people can watch us later. We'll see. There's only so much technology I can do at one point. The advantage of being in the room is side conversations. And as far as I'm concerned, the advantage of being in the room is I can hear people laugh if I say something funny. So that's always a challenge. If you say something funny on Zoom, it's like, well, I thought it was funny. See if anybody else did. You guys know the rules. Behave yourselves in the room, and if you're on Zoom, keep yourself muted except when we're going to be sharing. Let's share right now. A nice joyful cacophony. Please repeat after me. I open myself to love.
I open myself.
I open myself to love.
To joy.
I open
I
myself.
open myself to joy.
I open myself to the awareness of good surrounding me right here, right now.
I open myself to good surrounding me right now.
right now.
And so it is.
And
And so it is.
Okay, you guys mute, you guys shush, and I will remind you that New Thought Philadelphia is an open and loving community of spiritual adventurers, welcoming each person to experience their divine nature in an empowering space of unconditional love. Whatever brought you here today, whatever you're doing next, we've been expecting you. Welcome home. We believe there's one power, love, intelligence, or force that creates everything, including each of us, and that we're each using that same power, love, intelligence, or force to create our life according to our beliefs. The way we like to say it around here, and you can say it with me if you'd like, your new life begins with a new thought. If you have any extra electronic devices, and I'm reminded that I, in fact, have an extra electronic device which is ready to make a disturbing noise, I'm going to turn it on Do Not Disturb and let it do that until the end of the event. So you guys can do the same thing so that we don't get distracted and stuff. I'm Bill Marchiony, the spiritual director at New Thought Philadelphia. Our music today is by our old friend, and she's not that old, but it's been a while since we've seen her. This is Ev Reheard, and the last time we saw Ev was when we were meeting at the Adrian Theater, which was before the pandemic, which was before we went to the CA House. So this was like 2014 or earlier. So welcome back. Good things come back around again. Our practitioners today are Jesus Baez, RSCP, who will lead us in a meditation in a little bit. And right now, Breen Rourke, RSCP, will open us, as we open everything, with a practical prayer. Yay. Yay. Let me get out your way.
Get out of the way.
Get out the way.
Good morning, everyone. Let's just take a moment to settle in and just to be here now, letting go of any rushing to get here, any plans for later on, any disturbance, any discord, and just be in this moment, this God moment, this divine expression of spirit here and now as New Thought Philadelphia. Everything comes from that one power, that one divine idea. So we are all expressions of that one. Each one of us here, divine light of that love. All the words, the music, the ideas, the fellowship that brings us together is spirit in action, expressing here and now. I open to it. I accept it. I allow it. And so very grateful for it. Grateful for this opportunity to come together to celebrate our oneness, our connection with spirit, the infinite potential that awaits us. So I know this good, I claim this good, and I release this word into the law knowing that it is so. And so it is. Prayer. Why do we do it? Anybody know? It works. It works. That's why we do it. So now we're going to open up the community here about prayer working in your life. We call this bit Prayer Work Stories. So anybody on Zoom, you can click. I've got a little monitor here. I can see you. Anybody in the room, you want to raise your hand. You got a prayer work story. How is prayer working in your life? Hannah.
Yeah, so I recently started, can somebody turn off the echo? So I recently started being prayer partners with Jane, which has been lovely. And we did some prayer about a trip I was about to go on. This past week, I went to Seattle and Olympic National Park, and she did some prayer for me around just all of that going smoothly, the travel, everything with the friend I was going with, all of that. And it ended up being just great trip. All the travel was super easy. And then we were talking again a few days ago, and one of the things I was wanting prayer for was that when I came back to town, there were some issues with the water in New Orleans for a few days, that we were under like a boil water advisory, so it wasn't like safe to be using. And so that was one of the things I wanted prayer for. And kind of like, I think during when she was doing the prayer for me that included that, I got a text from the city that the boil water order had been lifted and we were good now. So prayer works, and it's definitely helpful to have somebody do it with you. Definitely recommend finding yourself a prayer partner if that's something that feels right for you. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? I've got one. So it's a lot of ones kind of coming together, but Jane and I are having our kitchen remodeled. And there's been some fits and starts and various things, and we're getting an island. We didn't have an island before, so we want to get stools. So I don't know if you ever shopped for kitchen island stools. Wow. Some people want a lot of money for stools. So we last weekend went to IKEA, and we were in the city, so we went to South Philly, and that was not a fun experience. So we decided we're going to go to Conshohocken. Yesterday morning we said a prayer about a great shopping experience, and that we would know, because we wanted to see the stools that we wanted in person and sit on them. So we said a prayer that it'll be a great shopping experience, and we'll know if these stools are right for us. And it was a great shopping experience. They had the exact model, the exact color we want. We sat on it. It felt great. I didn't include in the prayer that they would be in stock. Lesson learned. But it's the chair we want. So we found our stools. So very, very happy about that. Anybody else? Robin.
Thank you, Breen. I have been in and out of the hospital for the last couple of weeks. And on Friday, I met with the surgeon. And Thursday night, I was very anxious and apprehensive and getting very worried. And I went to the appointment on Friday morning, and I actually asked a porter to go to the appointment, like to go from the bottom floor to the top to where the appointment was on the second floor, because I hate heights and there's a lot of open space. And it just worked. The timing worked out perfectly. It was an answer to a prayer, and I couldn't ask for better timing. And it was a person that I already knew from previous appointments at the hospital. It worked out very well. So prayer in action, prayer works for sure. Thank you.
All right, prayer works. Give it a whirl. If you want to get new stools, if you want to go traveling, if you want to have clean water to drink, if you want to have someone there by your side, get a prayer partner, like Hannah was talking about, reach out to one of the practitioners. Do it. Do it now. Never mind. Now, Jane's going to hit us with the announcements. I forgot my kazoo.
Okay, good morning. This sunshiny information is on the website at newthoughtphilly.org. Sign up there for the weekly e-newsletter so we can keep in touch. We host 15-minute meditations on Zoom twice every day. If you haven't taken part lately, Zoom in this week. They're inspiring, fun, and quick. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings this week are also on Insight Timer Live. The Practical Prayer Podcast is religious and spiritual friends. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. Join in behind the scenes at the live recording session on Monday at 1 p.m. The summer book study class continues tomorrow at 7 p.m. on Zoom. We're exploring This Thing Called You, the most heartfelt book by Ernest Holmes. Just $25 for a single session, no experience needed. Our monthly series continues with Yes to Spirit, No to Church. Reverend Bill talks about how we can make a spiritual connection with others without joining a church or having to do what the church people say. Thursday, August 22nd from 7 to 8 p.m. on Zoom. The Personal Practitioner Course beginning in the fall will boost your spiritual practice to the next level. Classes will be on Tuesday afternoons. Contact Reverend Bill for details. Tune out the fear. Tune in the vision. For 100 days until the election, we are cultivating a special mindfulness practice to raise the vibration for all involved. To take part, text JOIN to the number on the website. Join us for a special workshop, Being at Home in Muddy Water, with our friend Dr. Jerry Troyer on Sunday, September 8th. It's a heart and eye-opening workshop about our human experience, allowing ourselves to grieve, feel our feelings, and find peace. It will be hybrid after the celebration at Falzer and on Zoom. The suggested love offering is $20. Follow, subscribe, like, and share our social media on Instagram, Facebook, Insight Timer, and YouTube, and join the 1,871 spiritual adventurers in our group on meetup.com. We are always grateful for your financial support. You can make a tax-deductible donation by Zelle, Cash App, check, PayPal, Venmo, credit, or debit card. And thank you to the team that makes our celebrations work and has fun doing it. We get together before the celebration to put the pieces in order. To join the joy, contact our volunteer coordinator. Next Sunday is on Zoom with What If Perfection is Not the Goal? Guest speaker Reverend Jackie Labar explores the transformative power of embracing imperfections to unlock a path towards self-acceptance, freedom, and authentic living. Live music by Anna W. The practitioners are available for professional sessions by appointment. After today's celebration, Breen is available for a miracle in a minute. And we will leave the Zoom link open for some conversation. Thank you.
Okay, now is the time we want to greet our new visitors. And I think we have a couple of folks here who are here for the first time. If you want to just maybe raise your hand. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Everyone, let's all rub our hands together. You guys just receive here. You are a bright light of divine love. Thank you for sharing your light with us, and welcome. Hey. For folks, anybody that comes for the second time, we've got a really cool keychain flashlight gift set. If you're here for the second time, Vanna is going. It's a really cool keychain flashlight gift set. Ooh. So come back and you can get a keychain and a flashlight. Ooh. All right. So now's the time we're going to greet each other. And we're in person. We walk around the room. We hug. We high five. We elbow, whatever you're into these days. On Zoom, you can put it in gallery view, look around at all the people. There's probably one of the cameras in here will show us walking around hugging. And Ev's going to sing us another song.
Makes no difference who you are, where you were born, or under what star. It makes no difference what's in your past. It's okay to let go of what didn't last. Keep on moving forward at your own pace. Just all of the pieces are falling right into place. 'Cause anything is possible. What's possible when you believe? Yes, anything is possible. Let your heart heal and your mind be free. Check your doubts at the door. Oh, you won't need them anymore. Where you're going, where you're going, oh, where you're going when you believe. It makes no difference where you're from. It's your actions that decide who you become. It makes no difference how much you know. No matter what you've learned, you have room to grow. So keep on moving forward. Oh, at your own pace. Just all of the pieces are falling right into place. 'Cause anything is possible. It's possible when you believe. Oh, anything is possible. Let your heart heal and your mind be free. Check your cares at the door. 'Cause you won't need them anymore. Where you're going, where you're going, oh, where you're going when you believe.
At Prayer Work Story Time, I did not tell Dina's story, but I see that she dropped into the celebration. Do you want to share your Prayer Work story from this week? No pressure. It could be that she, the only thing joined was her name.
No. I probably have to go back to class, so you tell it.
All right, I will very briefly tell Dina's prayer work story. As you know, the last time we were at Falser, she was supposed to be singing and had a vocal hemorrhage and was unable to speak or sing or do anything. And she found that to be actually very frustrating because she sings a lot, not like dramatic performances, but just a little singing now and then. She couldn't do it at all for a month. I took her down to see the specialist and was in the room with her when he was doing the scope test. And it was an uncomfortable test where they put the thing down her throat to look at her vocal cords. And then he asked her to make some noise. And the interesting thing was that as she is there with the uncomfortable probe down her throat and she's being asked to make singing noises, she's actually delighted because she's making singing noises. And the doctor cleared her to make singing noises and go back to speaking, so she is now scheduled to be here to sing in the second Sunday in October. So, woohoo! I love when that happens, and prayer works. We're now going to light the flames of faith, the lighting portion being done by Kathy and the speaking portion being done by Sandy.
Thank you. We perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from the one power, love, intelligence, which we call spirit or God. We honor the richness that comes from our shared diversity and bless the interwoven energy of the divine feminine and masculine. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the earth-based traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. As we light the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone or any place you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
Blessed be. The reading today comes to us from Hannah by way of Jesus. I believe it's from the Science of Mind. Yes. Hannah?
Yeah, this is from the Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, page 33. We find ourselves torn by confusion, by conflict, by affirmation and denial, by emotion congested by fear, congealed by pride. We are afraid of the universe in which we live, suspicious of people around us, uncertain of the salvation of our own souls. All these things negatively react and cause physical disorders. Nature seems to await our comprehension of her, and since she is governed by immutable laws, the ignorance of which excuses no man from their effects, the bondage of humanity must be a result of our ignorance of the true nature of reality. The storehouse of nature may be filled with good, but this good is locked to the ignorant. The key to this door is held in the mind of intelligence, working in accordance with universal law. Through experience, man learns what is really good and satisfying, what is truly worthwhile. As his intelligence increases and his capacity to understand the subtle laws of nature grows, he will gradually be set free. As he learns the truth will automatically free him. When we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. We must learn to come under that divine government and accept the fact that nature's table is ever filled. Never was there a cosmic famine. The finite alone has wrought and suffered. The infinite lies stretched in smiling repose. God is always God. No matter what our emotional storm or what our objective situation may be, there is always something hidden in the inner being that has never been violated. We may stumble, but always there is that eternal voice, forever whispering within our ear, that thing which causes the eternal quest, that thing which forever sings and sings.
You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged. Oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all, and the darkness inside you can make you feel so small. But I'll see your true colors shining through. I'll see your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Show me a smile then, and don't be unhappy. Can't remember when I last saw you laughing. This world makes you crazy, and you've taken all you can bear. Just call me up, because you know I'll be there, and I'll see your true colors shining through. I'll see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow. Can't remember when I last saw you laughing. This world makes you crazy. You've taken all you can bear. So call me up, because you know I'll be there, and I'll see your true colors shining through. I'll see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors. Your true colors are shining through. I'll see your true colors, and that's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
Thank you, Ev. Well, that song was new. I never thought it was a spiritual song. Bang! So something happens, and you get a stress response, the fight or flight, or freeze, or in some cases fawn. And that is a physiological response to something stressful. And when I say bang, the startle response is actually the one that's physiological. Everybody has the startle response. If you startle somebody, they're going to have that fight, flight, flee response. It doesn't always have to be something that's the startle response. The only other thing that we're actually physically hardwired to be afraid of, to have a fear response to, is a height. So we have an inborn fear of heights. Staying away from the edge of the cliff winds up being a good thing. It's probably one of the reasons that roller coasters are exciting. The stress response goes beyond just the fight or flight. That's the first piece of it. The next piece is the resistance and the recovery. So what happens is we're going to bring ourselves back into equilibrium somehow. And if the fight or flight response keeps going, and it's a hormonal endocrine, it's basically a system-wide thing that shuts down parts of our bodies and turns on other parts of our bodies so that we can run away from a dangerous saber-toothed tiger. Okay, show of hands. Anybody ever been chased by a saber-toothed tiger? No? Okay, it's leftover. It's left, and there are definitely times when we want to have that flight or fight or flee response because it actually helps keep us alive. And that's the idea behind it. However, there's so much stuff that goes on in our lives that can stress us out. Again, show of hands. Anybody ever feel stressed? Anybody? Yeah, okay. This week, maybe? Yeah. And that happens. Stuff happens in our lives, and it's not always something that is alarming. Sometimes it's a slow realization that, oh, I've done all of the work that I want to make sure that the stools for our new kitchen are in place, but it turns out that the ones that we've set the intention and done the prayer for aren't in stock at the current store. So it's like, uh-oh, and we can have a stress response to that. Or we can have a stress response if we have been responsibly investing our retirement money, and it turns out that when there's a market downturn, we had our money in the wrong place. And there's the possibility of having that same fear response and having the adrenaline go crazy on us. And the question isn't, do you want to have stuff happen in your life or not? Because, and I hope I'm not spoiling the surprise for anybody, stuff is going to happen. Sorry, Breen. Stuff is going to happen in our lives. And some of it's going to be startling, and some of it's going to be alarming, and unfortunately, some of it is possibly going to be unpleasant. And the choice that we have is, how do we respond? We can respond like it's an emergency. Our bodies are wired so that we, when we want to, even when we don't want to, our body can go into full-on fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, which is where you try and get whatever it is that's attacking you to not be attacking you. Oh, you're so great. You couldn't possibly want to attack me. There's what happens, and then there's our response to what happens. So one possibility is to run, to hide, to fight, to have a strategy for reacting to whatever's going on. And the other one is to inquire. The title of the talk is Lean In, and it's about having that moment of inquiry. Because something happens, and instead of responding or reacting because we know what's happening, we can say, wait a second. What actually is happening here? Sometimes what our startle response says is happening is actually happening. And it's wonderful to have one of those responses. It's a nice thing to get ourselves the heck away from the saber-toothed tiger. Don't spend too much time thinking about whether you should run away from the saber-toothed tiger. Should that ever happen to you? No, it probably won't. But lean in a little bit. Say, does this mean what my immediate reaction tells me that it means? Or is it possible that this means something different? Is it possible that there's something else going on than what my immediate reaction, based on everything that I know from the past, is telling me? Is there something different going on? A number of years ago, my brother was a consultant with McKinsey, and it doesn't make any difference that he was with McKinsey, it just makes it sound more important. And he would meet with a client and talk with the client would be talking about, oh, well, we got this problem going, that problem, we can't get this isn't working, and that's not working. They go through the whole litany of everything that's going wrong. You've heard the same thing. You don't need to be a McKinsey consultant. You don't need to be a consultant at all. You can just be at a kitchen table listening to somebody chat. And there's going to be the description of what the problem is. But the great thing that he learned to do, and that I've done in my consulting work as well, and also in the spiritual work that I'm doing, is I say, you know, I don't want to think of that as a problem. I want to think of that as an opportunity. Now let's find a way to solve your opportunity. And it is an opportunity, because what all of that observation, what all of that assessment of it being a problem, whether it's our startle response or just this is problem, trouble, difficulty going on and on and on, is it is an invitation. It is a reminder that the way things have been going is not the way that we'd like things to be going. It is our opportunity to choose something different. So the event's going to happen. Stuff is going to happen in our world. And oh, by the way, as we continue to work on our prayer and our spiritual practice, the stuff that happens tends to get tamer and tamer, which is really kind of fun. I've just noticed that happening amongst a lot of the people who have been involved in this teaching. But stuff still happens. The first thing we want to do is break the automatic cycle, to notice that I have the tendency to react this way or that way. I always run away. I always hide. This is the tendency that I have. And it's not to criticize it or to judge it. It's to say, oh, that's what I'm bringing to the table. That's who I am up until now. Because then we get to make that choice. Okay, I don't want to think of that as a problem. I want to think of that as an opportunity. Because now I know that when something happens, this is the way I tend to react. Then when something happens, we can use the fact that we're reacting that way to tell us, oh, something inside me tells me that something happened. Now I get to lean in. What does that really mean? What else could that mean other than what I assumed that it meant? Is it possible that what's really happening is different than what I've assumed is happening? Is it possible for me to engage in this new experience in a different way that's going to bring about a different next step in the experience? In a lot of our groups, we talk about Robert D. McDonald and his 4 questions. The first question is, are you happy with the experience of life that you're having now? And that's before the startle response. That's before the bang or the saber-toothed tiger or the stock market shift or the fill in the blank. Am I happy with the experience of life that I've been having so far? If the answer is yes, then you're done. We're completely finished. If the answer to that is no, that's when we get to lean in. What experience do I want to have instead? And it doesn't have to be, what do I want the world to do out there? I would like to vaporize the saber-toothed tiger. I would like to have the stock market turn around so that my investments are okay. I would like to have my kids like me, as they have not seemed to for X period of time. We don't necessarily want it. Let me change that. We'd love to be able to define what the rest of the world is going to do. That part doesn't work. The question is, how do I want to feel about that? Once these changes have happened, how do I want to feel about that? What do I want instead? And then we get to create a space for that. Because if I have been having this fear response, this fight or flight or freeze or fawn response when something like this happens, and I want to continue having that response when something else happens and expect that the next step is going to be different, well, come on. That's not going to happen. We need to change the way that we're engaging with the situation to leave some space so that something different can happen. Are you happy with the experience that you've been having so far? No. What do you want instead? How does that feel? What's the tone and flavor and texture of your life once that is coming about? Those are the first 2 questions that Robert D. McDonald asks. There are times when you're sitting on the couch and your beloved is next to you and they reach out and touch you and you get a flinch response. There's so many things you can read into that. Oh, she doesn't really like me. This has all been a sham so far. Maybe it's just a startle response. Maybe it's just something happened that they weren't expecting to happen, and it's actually the sort of thing that under different circumstances would be just fine. It's not the action itself that's causing the problem. If the person who's sitting on the couch has an abuser in their past, and the abuser is sitting on the couch next to them, they're going to be sitting there dreading the thought that the abuser is going to touch them. Very different situation, and what happens with that physiological response, that flinch response? It's exactly the same. So we get to be a choice. And when something happens, like we flinch when somebody who we love and who loves us touches us, it's not because we don't like him. It's because we got startled. Okay, that's something that my body did. Let's let it go. Let's pick up again and see where we're going to go from there. And if it's a different situation, let's assess what has that situation been up until now. What do I want to have instead? I want to have my life filled with love and joy and peace and harmony, and I can't really set the intention that the abuser is going to dissolve and melt and go away. That's probably not going to happen, although they could get distracted and get a wonderful opportunity to live their life in a faraway state or country. That can happen. What's going to make me okay? Doesn't need to involve what's going to happen with them or with the situation. What's going to make me feel okay? What's that flavor of life that would make me be okay? Our senses are a wonderful input system. That's what we use to connect with the world around us. So when you hear a loud bang, it's time for a response. So our friend, Dr. Michelle Whittington, was telling me a story that she was at home. She lives in Phoenix in a lovely community with a wall around it. And she heard something, and she's used to hearing, traffic accidents and stuff, but she heard something. There was no screeching of tires. There was no panicky sounds whatsoever, just a crunch. She's thinking, I wonder what that is. But she doesn't really like to deal with things like that. So she was sitting there concentrating on ignoring this. And her next door neighbor called and said, did you see that? And she said, what? And apparently somebody had been in the street outside of their place and put his foot on the gas instead of on the brake, and the car came right through the wall. And it's right against the wall at her house. And she had not wanted to pay attention to that. She had wanted to make that not be a problem enough that she didn't pay any attention to it. But it turns out, whether she was paying attention or not, there was still a car that had knocked down the wall in front of her neighbor's house. By the time I heard the story a couple of days later, the wall had been fixed, the guy was fine, everything went back to being okay. But that's an indicator. How am I responding when something happens? Because she could have thrown her arms up and had her pulse get really high, and she could have gone running around looking for the first aid kit and having a whole emergency response, or do what she did, or anything else. We're a choice. We're a choice. So when something in our senses tells us that there's something going on, whether it's a loud bang or seeing something happen or hearing the news, we don't need to automatically have the response of having the adrenaline kick off and our heart rate go up and the stress things happen in our lives, which we then need to go through the recovery process of. We put a little gap in there. We can lean into that and say, what does this mean for me? And don't do that with a loud, alarming scream. What does this mean for me? Oh my God, what does this mean for me? Because when we're making too much noise, we can't hear the still small voice tell us. It's going to be whispering. Whatever that highest and best is that's available for us and for everybody else, when we get advised as to what it's going to be a whisper. And that's possibly the best reason to lean in. When you think you hear that whisper, lean in. If there was somebody close to you telling you the secret of the universe, telling you the next wonderful thing that's going to happen, the perfect step for you to take, and they're speaking very quietly, what would you do? You'd be quiet and you'd lean in. So do that, because it works. It's how love unfolds, and you deserve it. And so it is. Thank you.
Roll over, get out of bed. How I'd like to get out of my head. These days are so long when I don't stuck in my head. Why bother getting out of bed? There's no place for me to go. Where I don't already know that I will find myself again. My worst enemy and old best friend. I'd like to find a way, oh, to escape for just one day. I said I'd like to go somewhere I don't know. I'd like to hide, just enjoy the ride, because I don't wanna listen to my own troubled mind, and I know I'll be mistaken when I read between the lines. No, I don't know nothing about nobody else. No, I don't even know myself. Oh, I'd like to find a place to escape the human race. I'd like to stay there for a moment, for a moment.
Thank you, thank you, Eve. Thank you, Rev. Thanks, everybody here today, everybody in Zoom. It's an honor, a blessing to be here this morning. We're going to do a little meditation, just like we had some prayer work story. Meditation and prayer is the same stick with two ends. Meditation, we go to the center. Prayer, we come out the center. And we see the results. It's like faith. Faith in God. Somewhere it's written, it say, faith is the substance of the things hoped for, the evidence of the things unseen. It might sound like a riddle, but it's simple. Spirituality is simple. Sometimes we make it real difficult. It's just like what it's saying is coming from the unseen to the seen. Everything comes from the unseen. And then we see and we magnify it, and we glorify it. And it's beautiful, because those things that are good, we want to magnify it. We want to glorify it. Those things that are negative, we want to eliminate it. But they there. We surrender. We accept. It's like when we speak about faith, more or less what the Reverend was speaking about. And also last week, like when it comes prayers answer, it's a process, but it's instantly, right? It's like a paradox. It's a process. We work through it, but it comes instantly. Just like the truth, like the reading, right? It comes to that unity. We want to unify ourselves with the presence. But before we unify, we gotta recognize it. We gotta come to a recognition. That's what the steps of prayer. We gotta recognize it before we be in unit and be one with it. And put the feeling, put that imagination, put that thanksgiving. So I invite you. Before we close, I was seeing the men's basketball team. It was a great game. 2 champions. Somebody have to lose. For me, like, no team lost there. All of them was winners. Sometimes what situation, challenges come to us, like the Red was saying, you know, it's gonna come. But how we gonna see it? How we gonna take it? That's the difference. You know, are we gonna surrender? I'm not saying surrender throwing our flags up, the white flag. I'm saying surrendering to the presence of God in us and moving forward without, like they say, with our heads high. And they say around there, grabbing the bulls by the horns. Oh, man. Oh, and Steph was speaking. There was that, and one phrase stood in my mind. He said, when you sign up for any mission, give it your best. And that stood, to today, it was hitting me like, you know, whatever you sign for, any mission, be it relationship, friendship, in the community, give it our best, you know? And like that, we won't have no regrets, you know, when things doesn't work out in relationship, because we gave it our best. So I invite you, close your eyes, get comfortable where you're at. Take a deep breath in. If you're not doing it already, I believe all of us was in that meditated state of mind. Because the music, the talk, the announcement, the reading, the prayers, all things take us in that state of calmness, of silence, of quietness. Like God, always smiling. See him always with a smile in his face. That peace. We can't come to the one person with chaos, with a disturbed mind. Come in quietness, with humility. That's how we enter that presence. That are always there, answering our prayers before we call. The answer is already there. There's no condition, situation in God or question. God has answer. We don't come to him with conditions. We come to him with answers. We tune, recognize that beautiful presence in us, in each one of us, here and now. We surrender. We accept the answer. Sometimes it might be a little uncomfortable, but believe me, that's the only and best answer. Whatever we choose in that moment, that's what it is. Because we are open to Spirit. Spirit flowing through us, in us, all around us. That's us, it is us. We are flexible in our hearts. It will never be broken. We are in tune with the one presence. It's like seeing the last step but taking the first one. Take the first one. Sometimes we don't know the 51st, but we take it with that faith from the unseen. Simplicity. In NAAA, they call it KISS. Keep it simple. Serenity. I don't want to say the other word. Sound offensive a little bit. Keep it simple. Simplicity in life. See the flowers, see the lilies, see the ants, the bees. They don't struggle. It's not with might or with sword. It's with the Spirit of the Lord. Where we dwell in that secret place, where we abide in the mighty hands of the Most High, here and now. Let's surrender to this presence that always is for us, not against us. Sometimes we think it's against us because the things that happen is not fair. Stop complaining, stop. It's there. Feel it. Smell it. Embrace it. Embody it. Believe it. Know it.
Everything is that one presence, the divine idea. God, Spirit, the infinite field of potential. It is that one creative force back of everything. It flows through each of us, always. We are unique individual expressions of that divine idea, manifesting here and now. There is one. We are it, always. So very grateful to open to this awareness, to open to this experience of divinity within. I know this good, I claim this good, I allow it, and I let it be. And so it is. I invite you to take a nice, deep, full, cleansing breath. Breathe in and exhale. Bring some gentle motion to your body. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. Bring your attention back. And Ev's going to sing us another song.
If I could unravel some mystery, wouldn't that be a catastrophe? Wouldn't it be overrated, unappreciated from how we see life should be? If I wasn't fascinated by what I've created, I don't think I could see a reason for you and for me to ever believe that we were made to be perfect. And I'm far from perfect if I could meet that
Thank you, Ev. Last couple were originals, yeah. Yeah, wonderful. So a year or two ago, we had the roof on our house replaced. And nobody wants to replace the roof. It's just expensive. And a few weeks ago, the neighbors up the street had their roof replaced. And I was talking to the owner and saying, well, that's never a project you look forward to. She said, yeah, but you know, it would rain and there would be water dripping down the chimney. So we knew there was something going on. And then this week there was another couple across the way. They were getting their roof replaced. And my observation was, wow, you start out with several $1,000s in a roof and you wind up with a roof. And on the one hand, nobody wants to get their roof replaced. On the other hand, if we don't replace the roof, if we don't take care of that which is ours to take care of, then the roof goes away and the house comes apart and it winds up not being the house that we wanted anymore. So we get to lean into that. When it is time to replace the roof, we get to lean in and do what's ours to do so we can make some space. And so wherever we are in the story of bad things, good things happening, we're not at the end of the cycle. So we're up to the wisdom share portion of our program. So as we've been talking about leaning in, about stuff that happens and how we respond to it. So if there's anybody either in the room here or on Zoom who would like to share something that's come up for you, then go ahead. If you're here, come on up. And if you're on Zoom, just raise your hand. And we get a chance to give voice to it. Anybody? Jesus wants a new roof. No.
It's almost like that, bro. It reminds me, my bathroom was leaking and the water was coming down the kitchen. So it's hard to get some workers. So I'm talking to a friend of mine in Planet Fitness, and I told him about it. He said, oh, I could check that out. You came right by and fix the situation, you know? And then while he was fixing the situation, I went to change the oil in my car, and it's a new company now. Instead of Lewmaster, now it's Valvoline. So just to change the oil and the filter, they wanted to charge me $110. That was before taxes. I said, wait a minute, that's too much. So I told him, he said, oh, I could do that. I said, okay, you know, so it was just remarkable, you know, the way things could work out, you know, and then everybody comes out at top. So that's a good thing, you know, like in business, you know, it's like, it's not that somebody always winning, you know, it's like when everybody wins at the same time. And that's why I guess here New Thought, what we want for everybody, you know, everybody wins, you know, whoever in the Middle East over there, everybody come to that place that everybody's comfortable and happy, and, you know, I know I'm happy because that water was, a couple of more weeks or so, that water coming down, it would have teared my kitchen light, my ceiling and all that, and then so like Rev said, you know, you gotta take care of those little things, you know, because like they say, the little foxes will tear up your whole vegetable garden, you know, so yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jesus. Yeah. And only $10 a month over at Planet Fitness. 20, I got the black. Oh, you got the good one, yeah. We were doing prayer work stories before, and Hannah shared about her prayer partnership with Jane, and what I didn't get a chance to ask Jane about is how that feels to hear the echo of those stories coming back. It's like, oh, I did the prayers, and it's me doing the whole thing that I do anyway, and then suddenly there's a transformation that's happening. So, yeah, pretty magical. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll let Jane talk about that for just a second if she wants, because she's got to come up here and do the offering anyway.
Okay. Yeah, it's last week Reverend Bill was giving a talk, and I heard him saying, I've heard him before talking about his prayer partner that he's had for 20 years, like a really long time. And I thought, I would love to do that. And, you know, I'm not a reverend. I'm not, I don't have my RSCP behind me, but it's like, I don't have the paperwork. However, I love the feeling of connection because we're small but mighty and we have a great community. And I thought, wow, I'd really love to have a prayer partner. So I put it out there. And I guess it is a prayer work story because Hannah reached out to me like right after that. And she's like, I'd be interested in being your prayer partner. Let's try it. And so it's been great. And I love it. And so thank you, Hannah, for agreeing to do this with me because it's fun and it feels very satisfying when it's just a great way to connect with somebody in our community. So I highly recommend it. Or maybe we can do a talk about it sometime about picking out a prayer partner and the joy of just being able to look forward to seeing that person every week or talk to them on the phone every week and just it's a great connection. So I can't say enough good things about it. I'm so glad I did it. And so with that, I'm going to do the offering. New Thought Philadelphia is all about spreading the love. Our community is supported by your contributions. The gift you share helps fund our work in the world, and the way you shine your light spreads the love. We have a basket in the room and a donate button on the website to make a donation by Zelle, Cash App, credit card, PayPal, or Venmo. You can also mail a check to our office in Ardmore, and we are grateful for every way you share. The offering affirmation is on the screen, and we'll all unmute and say the affirmation together as soon as Bill gets it up on the screen. We got it? Okay. I live in an abundant universe.
I live in an abundant universe.
I am one with the infinite,
I am one with the
all
infinite
good.
source of all good.
I am a center of
I'm a center of conscious prosperity.
I enjoy
I
the
enjoy
I enjoy the richness of life.
I bless my gift.
I bless my gift.
I share my gift.
I share my gift with gratitude and joy.
As I give,
As I do this to give, I do receive.
And so it is.
And so it is.
I am unwritten, you can't read my mind. I'm undefined. I'm just beginning. The pen's in my hand, ending unplanned. Staring at the blank page before you. Open up the dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you could almost taste it. Release your inhibitions. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips. Judge yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins. The rest is still unwritten. I break tradition. Sometimes the tries are outside the lines. We've been conditioned to not make mistakes, but I can't live that way. Staring at the blank page before you. Open up the dirty window. Let the sun illuminate the words that you could not find. Reaching for something in the distance, so close you could almost taste it. Release your inhibitions. Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else could speak the words on your lips. Judge yourself in words unspoken. Live your life with arms wide open. Today
Marcia. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Accept these gifts knowing that the blessing continues and circulates and supports all of us individually and together. And so it is. We will close with another cacophony. If you're on Zoom, go ahead and unmute. If you're in the room, go ahead and grab the hand of somebody who is close by to you, and you can repeat after me. I am love.
I am love.
I am light.
I am light.
Let the light shine.
I let the light
Let
shine.
the love flow.
Let the
I
love
am
flow.
leaning in.
And I am leaning
And so
in.
it is.
And
And so it is.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you, Breen. Thank you, Jesus. Thank all y'all. Let's see who's still there. Thank you, Zoom guys.
Thanks, everyone. Good to see you.
Wonderful, and congratulations on your prayer partner and your prayer work stories. I love that. I love when that happens.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Have a good day, Robin. Good to see you.
Take
Good to
care,
see you
Robin.
too. Take
See
care.
you, Michelle. Have
Bye,
a great
Michelle.
day.